What if the voice you're ashamed of becomes the one that changes the world? Speak with love. The teacher who never gave up on a stuttering kid isn't another feel-good story. It's a powerful exploration of courage, patience, and the invisible battles millions face every day. You're about to witness a young student who couldn't speak without fear slowly become someone who speaks with purpose, with impact, and with love. This story challenges everything you think you know about communication, confidence, and what it means to be fluent. It sparks a question most people avoid. Is stuttering a limitation or a deeper form of expression? People have argued for years. Is vulnerability a weakness or a superpower? Tonight, you'll decide. Stay with me. This one will change how you listen. Hey guys, today we're sitting at the back of a classroom that smells faintly of whiteboard markers and mystery lunch meat. It's third period, Tuesday, and you're staring down at your desk like it holds the answers to life itself. Spoiler, it doesn't. The answer today is read aloud, and you'd rather disappear than attempt it. The teacher is calling on students one by one, each voice bouncing confidently off the cinder block walls. You're counting the tiles on the floor, praying the bell rings early, or that maybe a meteor hits the school. Either works. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're here, drop your location and local time in the comments. I love imagining this big, cozy global campfire we're all gathered around. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You stutter, not always, but always when it matters. Your brain is fast, your heart faster, but your mouth forgets how to cooperate. You open it and sometimes nothing comes out. Or worse, it does in fragments, like a broken song. Kids snicker. Some don't mean to be cruel, some absolutely do. It starts early. First grade, a poem you were proud to read. You get stuck on the second line and never forget the teacher's awkward silence as she gently suggests someone else finish it. After that, you avoid speaking. Raise your hand only for restroom passes. Dread presentations like other kids dread vegetables. But then comes fifth grade, and her, Miss Keller. No, not that Keller. Though there's an irony you'll appreciate later. Ms. Keller is tall and wears sneakers with pencil drawings on them. She smells like cinnamon tea and always has markers in her hair, like she forgot they were there. She doesn't laugh when you stutter. She doesn't look away. She just waits. That first week, she calls on you. You freeze. The word photosynthesis mocks you on the page. You try. It comes out. Then silence. She nods. Take your time, I'm listening. And something shifts. Not in your speech. Not yet. But in the way the silence feels, less like judgment, more like space. You start staying after class, forgetting your lunchbox just to talk to her. She asks about your drawings. You're not an artist, but you sketch robots when bored. She loves them. One day, she asks if you'd help design posters for the school's reading fair. You laugh, bitterly. Me? At a reading fair? She shrugs. Words aren't just spoken. They can be drawn, written, built. You don't realize it then, but she's rewriting the rules. Every week she finds quiet ways to nudge you. Want to read just one line today? Want to practice during lunch? Want me to read the first word, you do the second? You say no a lot, but one day you say yes. It's messy. The line takes a full minute, but you get through it. The class claps. Not in that sarcastic, pitying way. Real claps. Encouragement. One kid yells, "Let's go!" That night, your mom cries in the car because you tell her you spoke in class. Miss Keller introduces you to breathing exercises, tapping rhythms, speaking slowly, not like you're broken, but like you're in control. You still stutter, but now you understand it. It's not your enemy. It's a part of your rhythm. You even give it a name, the bump, like a speed bump. You don't hate it anymore. You just learn how to ride over it. Ms. Keller once says, "Your voice isn't a mistake. It's a fingerprint. Nobody else has one like it." You think about that a lot. Years pass. You don't magically stop stuttering, but it softens, becomes something you can navigate. You read a full paragraph in front of the class one day. No one even blinks. That night, you post on a quiet Tumblr account. "Today I read aloud without choking. I felt like a superhero, a shaky one, but still." That post gets one like, but years later, you'll find out who it was from, and it'll matter more than you can imagine. Middle school is awkward for everyone. Hormones, lockers, gym class nightmares. But for you, it's a battlefield of syllables. New school, new faces, and every name roll is a fresh panic attack. Your name is simple, 2 syllables, but it becomes a mountain when you're called on. You don't say "here," you nod. The teachers usually don't notice. One does and mispronounces your name for months. You never correct him. Your stutter isn't always present. Some days it hibernates. Other days it roars, especially when you're excited or nervous. And nothing makes you more nervous than group projects. Everyone wants the person who can present well. You learn to volunteer for the PowerPoint instead. Quiet, competent, invisible. Then comes the poetry unit. Because of course it does. You love poetry. Quietly. You write it at night, under your blanket, with a flashlight and a notebook you'd die if anyone found. It's full of metaphors about thunder in your throat, rivers that can't flow. You even write one called "The Bump," your ode to stuttering. And then Ms. Keller comes back. Well, not literally, but in spirit. You remember her words, her voice, that pencil stuck in her bun like a magic wand. You hear her in your head. Your voice is a fingerprint. So when the teacher announces a poetry slam, you sign up. You don't know why. Maybe it's self-sabotage. Maybe it's bravery. Those two often look the same until you're in the middle of them. You spend days practicing. Your palms sweat through 3 pages. You memorize the poem so well you could recite it backwards, but your mouth still catches on "remember." Remember. It almost breaks you. Then you think, what if I don't fix it? What if I let it be ugly? That thought changes everything. The night of the slam, your hands shake. Your voice trembles. You stutter through the first 2 lines. People fidget in their seats. One kid coughs, but you keep going. You get stuck halfway through. Can't say "courage." It won't come out. You close your eyes, whisper it. Then try again, "courage." And this time, it lands. When you finish, the room is so quiet it's loud. Then, claps. Not polite ones, the kind that rise, build. A standing ovation from a bunch of 8th graders who usually only stand for fire drills. The next day, a clip of your poem goes viral on TikTok. Someone's older sibling posted it. Caption: "This kid stuttered and still wrecked us." The comments explode. "I cried. I didn't breathe the whole time. Bro's voice hits harder than my GPA." And your favorite, "Finally someone saying what I couldn't." You scroll for hours. You reread the comments like they're prayers. Your English teacher prints out one and tapes it to your desk. You don't have to speak perfectly to speak powerfully. You almost cry. But instead, you write another poem and another. You start an anonymous poetry account. Post once a week. Never show your face. But the words? They're yours. People find them. Share them. Someone messages, "I have a stutter too. I didn't think I could perform. Now I want to try." You don't reply. You just smile. Ms. Keller would be proud. There's a debate online. One of those late-night Reddit threads where people argue whether speech disorders are medical issues, social constructions, or just neurological diversity. One user says, if someone stutters, should they really be forced into public speaking? Another replies, why assume they're being forced? Maybe they choose it. That gets 1.3K upvotes. And you wonder, when did your stutter stop being a cage? When did it become a key? You give a talk in high school, not because you have to, because someone asks if you'd speak about communication differences for Diversity Week. You say yes, the mic squeaks, your heart thunders. But you say it anyway. Hi, my name is Name. I stutter. It doesn't make me broken, it makes me real. And for once, you're not trembling. You're grounded, whole. Afterward, a girl from freshman year hands you a folded note. It reads, "You just gave me permission to stop being ashamed." You keep it in your wallet for years, and every time you feel that old fear clawing at your throat, you touch the paper. You remember, this voice matters, even when it stumbles, especially then. Years pass the way they always do, quietly then all at once. High school blurs into college applications, acceptance emails, panic, relief. You choose communications as a major, which feels either ironic or perfect depending on the day. Your advisor raises an eyebrow when you tell her. You beat her to it. Yes, you say. I know. College is louder, faster, less forgiving. Class discussions don't wait for you. Professors cold call. Group work is constant. Some days you feel like you're back in kindergarten, staring at the carpet, hoping no one notices your raised hand trembling in the air. But something is different now. You don't hide it. The first time you introduce yourself in a lecture hall of 200 people, you say it plainly. I stutter. If I get stuck, I'll get there. Please don't finish my sentences. No one laughs. A few nod. One guy gives a thumbs up like you just announced a dietary restriction. You take that as a win. You keep writing. Still anonymous mostly, your poetry account grows. Tens of thousands of followers. Someone stitches your video with soft piano music and captions it, proof that voice isn't about fluency. It goes viral. Again, there's always a comment section war. One side, this is inspiring. The other, why glorify a disability? Someone else, why are you uncomfortable with it existing? Authors still debate whether representation heals wounds or just exposes them, whether telling your story reopens scars or teaches others where not to step. You don't know the answer. You just know that every time someone messages you, saying, I heard myself in your words, something inside you steadies. Senior year. You're invited to speak at a conference, a real one, lanyards, name badges, free pens you don't need. The topic is inclusive communication. You almost say no. Then you remember the poem, the slam, the silence before applause. You say yes. Backstage, your mouth goes dry, your hands shake. The old fear whispers, what if you block? What if you freeze? You step up anyway. You tell them about Ms. Keller, about waiting, about silence that wasn't judgment but space. You stutter. You pause. You breathe. No one rushes you. When you finish, a standing ovation rises, not loud but deep, respectful, like people just witnessed something honest. Afterward, a woman in her 40s approaches you. She has kind eyes. She says, I'm a teacher. I have a student who stutters. I didn't know how to help him. I do now. That's the moment. Not the applause. Not the viral clip that follows. Yes, it goes viral because the internet loves a full circle arc, not the headlines. Stuttering speaker redefines communication. It's that one sentence. I do now. Years later, you stand in a classroom of your own, not as a student, as a teacher. Your voice hasn't magically smoothed out. You still repeat sounds, still pause, still get stuck on statistics every single time, like it personally hates you. Your students don't flinch, they wait. One kid in the back stutters, harder than you ever did. He avoids eye contact, speaks only when forced. You recognize him immediately. One day after class, you say gently, you don't have to rush. I'll wait. His eyes widen, like someone just unlocked a door he didn't know existed. Weeks later, he raises his hand. And the world holds its breath. You wait, he speaks. Not perfectly, but bravely. And in that moment, you realize something that makes your chest ache in the best way. Ms. Keller never gave up on a stuttering kid, and now, neither will you. The story circles back on itself, like all the best ones do, not with a shout, with a quiet understanding. Speak with love. Wait with patience. Listen like it matters, because it does. And now, as the day softens around you, let your shoulders drop. Let the tension in your jaw ease. You don't need to prove anything tonight. Your voice, however it comes, is already enough. Breathe in. Breathe out. Somewhere, a child is finding the courage to speak because someone once waited for you. That's how stories keep going. And now that you've walked this path, from fear to bravery, from silence to powerful speech, take a moment to let it settle in your heart. Whether this story made you cry, smile, reflect, or root for someone you never met, let that feeling sit with you. Like this video if it moved you. Share your feelings in the comments. What part resonated? Follow for more inspiring stories that challenge norms and change hearts. Because sometimes the most powerful voices aren't the perfect ones. They're the ones that choose love over silence.